Hey everybody, back again with another video. This one is going to be about my 2013 Subaru WRX. But first and foremost, happy holidays and happy new year to everybody. Just enjoy your holidays, that kind of thing. But moving along. So, after I moved to Michigan, the speed was getting into high miles, so I started looking for something else. I already had front wheel drive cars. Time to try something new. So I looked around, and with the weather that they have up here in Michigan, rear wheel drive was kind of like, I don't know if I want to have a rear wheel drive car for my primary mode of transportation while I'm up here. So the next logical step was all wheel drive. So looking around, I found an Evo MR. I really liked it a lot. The transmission, the DCT in it was really good. It was responsive. Paddle shifter thing, I was kind of like, I don't really like paddle shifters too much, but this kind of driving this one kind of changed my mind a bit about it. But it had way, way too many miles on it. Now, to me, if I'm buying a new car, even if it's used, it needs to be under 40,000 miles or under 45,000 miles on the car when I first buy it. So I have a little bit of longevity out of it. The Evo had, I want to say, about 75, 80K on it. And I'm like, yeah, at the end, I do 1 year of driving in this car and it's going to be up at around 120K. And no, I'm good. So I let the Evo go. And then I went to look at an STI that I found and a 13 WRX. The STI had about an extra 10, 15,000 miles on it. The WRX had, I want to say, maybe a good like 35, 40. So I was like, okay, I'll just get the WRX. I know I'm not getting the super version of the car. I was a little bummed about that, but I thought it was a good fit because it had the proper mileage and it was still a fun car to drive. So if you don't know, or you live under a fucking rock, the WRX has a 2.5 liter Boxer Turbo 4. It also is added to a 5-speed manual transmission. Basically, as far as the engine characteristics go, it was really, really similar to the speed that I had. And, it's a small displacement turbo engine. So turbo was not very big, so all the power was in the mid range. Again, you can crank it up to 6,500 RPM, but beyond 52, 5,300 RPM, there was nothing there. So you just better off just shifting. Excuse me, got a little bit of a cold. But moving on. It had a 5-speed instead of a 6-speed like the Speed had. And the good thing about this year was that they did a little bit of strengthening to the gearbox, because the first generations of the WRX were known for reputation for having a glass gearbox. I think it's just a matter of having a dumbass behind the wheel, but I'll go into that at another time. So I didn't do very many mods on this car as far as power goes, for the simple fact I had been down the path of darkness with speed before, with changing turbos and all that maintenance crap nightmare that I had to do. So I was like, you know what? It's quick enough as it is. I mean, I didn't win a lot of drag races with it, because I didn't drag race it with it at all, to be honest. But it had power enough as far as I was concerned. But the other things I did was I did bushings on it. So along the driveline bushings all the way back. Rear chassis, I did a few bushings, swapped out a few bushings there. I did motor mount, trans mount to something a bit more solid, just to put as much power to the transmission and the wheels as possible without, flexing any bushings or anything like that. So that was my thought process as far as that was concerned. I did a short shifter on it. I also did a nameless muffler delete, which kind of got the sound out of the car that I wanted, the whole rumble sound and stuff that I wanted out of the car, without having to spend $900, $1,000 on a full 3-inch exhaust system. I did white line sway bars front and rear, both 20 millimeters. I had the front bar set to the loosest setting, because they were adjustable. And then I had the rear bar set to the tightest setting. And this allowed the car to rotate a lot better when I was pushing it. So the back end would be a bit more loose, which was helped kind of kill the understeer as far as I was able to get out of the car. It had supporting end links. I also got a cob access port for it. I didn't do any intake or anything on the car. I just did a stage 0 reflash, and it changed the throttle mapping a little bit as far as I was concerned. It was a lot more linear on the throttle than it was in its stock form. So, yeah, that's about it as far as all the modifications went as far with the vehicle itself. Now, the next thing that I needed to do as far as if when I wanted to get into autocrossing and track driving was I needed tires and I needed a set of wheels, because here in Michigan almost everybody has a winter set of tires and wheels and a summer set of tires and wheels. So for the summer set, I decided to go with RPF 1s. They were 17 by 9s, and then initially I wrapped them in Sumitomo, I think it's HTR 2s or HTR 3. I don't remember exact tire, but after doing one or two autocross events and asking around, everybody just basically said, get a set of RPF, again, not RPF, get a set of RE71s and you'll be good. So I listened, got the RE71s, and they made a massive difference as far as how fast I was going. So that's definitely one thing I strongly, strongly recommend to anybody that wants to get into doing any type of, not professional, but amateur racing events and stuff like that. Good set of tires, first and foremost. Damn the turbo, damn the intake, damn the exhaust system. Good set of tires. I also got uprated brake pads. I think they were, what the hell were they? They weren't full track pads, but they weren't street pads either. They were kind of more on the aggressive side. So they were really, really dusty, but they didn't squeal and squeak when it was cold. So it was a pretty good compromise. For the life of me, I can't remember the type of pads. But I did get stainless steel brake lines, and those made a great difference as far as pedal feel goes. It doesn't make the car stop any better, but you get a much, much better feeling pedal, and it inspires confidence if you can just kind of feel a little bit more of what's going on with the car while you're driving it. So, yeah. I started off in autocross, and I learned basic handling, dynamics, car control, and how to drive, most people say, oh, yeah, I know how to drive, and this, that, and the third. And then you bring them out to one of these courses, and they turn into Miss Daisy on you. And so it's just basically a confidence builder. You have to get out there, you have to do it, you have to work at it. And, if you're serious about the craft and you're serious about being a better and more competent driver, you will put in the effort. And yeah, man, it's not only makes you a better driver on the road, but it's a lot of fun. So it's a good way to learn how to drive. It wasn't my first exposure to it. I've been doing it off and on for a number of years, especially via the jobs that I've had. So I went to BMW's facility down in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Great, great facility. If you do have the opportunity to go, by all means, do go. It's expensive, yes, but go check it out. You'll have a lot of fun. One of my other jobs, Bosch, I had to do the driver training course there for front wheel drive car and rear wheel drive car, so you get to see how the different cars handle on the limit and how to drive them better. The front wheel drive car basically solidified my hatred for the Toyota Camry, and the rear wheel drive car taught me how scary a C5 Z06 Corvette was. I mean, the line of you're in control and hang on, motherfucker, here we go, because you're gonna go spin off someplace, is extremely, extremely thin. So it's like control and backwards in a cloud of smoke is like that, right? There's no the limit. You need to be so fast. There are people that can do it. I wasn't one of them people, so I need a bit more of a forgiving car for when I drive a car hard. The more also too, I don't know if I brought it up before or not in other videos, but the Porsche Owners Experience down in Atlanta is also a great facility. You should go check out if you have the opportunity to do so. The instructors are great. The cars are clean. The cars are fast. They take you on the skid pad. They take you on, I know, this shifting road thing that kicks the rear end of the car out to teach you how to control a spin before it happens. They have a skid pad that they teach you how to drift on. They have a tight handling course. The road course is tight and twisty and engaging. Very, very fun. And once the instructor is confident that you know what the hell you're doing, he let you go. He just said, "Dude, belt it," and I was flying. And after he showed me the line, and I was following along the line in this little, I think it was a Boxster S. It had a PDK. Love the PDK, but he would, after maybe one or two laps, and he was confident in my ability to drive. He was just, come over a little bit more this way, come over a little bit more that way, brake here a little harder and later, and then get on the throttle this way to try to shave time off my lap. And man, it was dropping, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. So by all means, go to one of these professional driving schools, man, if you're really, really into driving. And it'll change your whole outlook. It's awesome. Okay, so I went to more autocross events, and I just ended up getting faster and faster each time I went out, and it was a lot of fun, and with the people who are friendly and willing to share advice. Man, they are just a good bunch of guys and girls, and they joke around, have a good time, and I cannot heap enough adoration on these folks for just being good sports all the way around. One of my favorite events that I went to was Corvette Club at Waterford Hills. They had like a time trial kind of thing. They sectioned off a certain area of the road course, and then they let you go around. I think it was like 4 or 5 times or whatever it is, as fast as you could go, as fast as you could manage. And that kind of made me want to switch more into track days after doing that event a couple of times. And then I ended up running the car up to, I think, over 100K. I remember I did the belts on the car. I think it might have been like 98,000 miles, 100,000 miles, and I had no issues with it. So yeah, I would recommend a WRX to anybody. Pretty much, just don't be a dumbass. That's all I have to say about it. Don't be stupid, and the car will run for you, man. That's pretty much how it works. While I was up here, I got to meet some cool folks from the Subaru people. I mean, Michigan Subaru people. There's a guy, D, from the group. He rolled my fenders so I can put my super beefy RPF ones and tires on. Chopped it up, talked to him. He's a great guy. Joey, Adam, Scott, and a bunch of guys that are really chill and massive car nerds like myself. And like any other car club, we meet up, we go out for tacos, beers, car shows, that kind of stuff, cars and coffee. It's a crew, and you just hang out and you talk shit, which is great. And then also, while I was up here at the autocross events, I met Eric and Joe. Eric is kind of my autocross guru. Shout out to him. Really cool guy. Always willing to share advice. Always willing to kind of help out anybody who's just starting out. And he has just a wealth of knowledge as far as driving goes. And if you do go to a local autocross event, ask for him, and people will be more than happy to point you out to him. And you'll probably see me there as well too. Come over, say what's up. It's like, I can be asshole-ish, but when I'm at these events and stuff like that, I'm on my best behavior. Okay. And then the other guy who I became really good friends with is a guy named Joe. He's like myself. He is a transplant. He's from New Orleans. And this is probably the biggest Toyota nerd I know. This guy knows chassis code, engine codes. Massive wealth of knowledge as far as Toyota goes. And you know, me and him talk about stuff and chop it up. He's a really cool dude, and both of them just helped me set on the path of becoming a better driver. And as far as Michigan goes on a whole, uh, car place like no other as far as I've ever been. You'll see cars from the 50s and 60s, even like the 1920s. You see exotics, you see domestics, you see imports. You see more domestics than you see imports, but provided they're all taken care of and driven by people who are just car nerds, and that makes it so much cooler than just some guy who has, you know, a Porsche. You know what I mean? It just, that little thing just makes a big difference. As far as a car goes, it never really gave me any problems. Most issues with Subarus come from the owners just being stupid. I mean, I wish I had a better explanation or a nicer way to say it, but a lot of Subaru owners are dumbasses. So they will buy parts and then do improper tuning, dumping the clutch, and breaking transmissions. I mean, with any car, if you do not take proper care of it and you do not do the proper supporting mods and the proper supporting tuning to it, it's a time bomb. It will blow up on you. There's no if and buts about it. It might take a little bit longer with certain models to explode, but eventually they'll get to the point and they will go boom on you. It's just that if you're that careless with it, it just shortens the amount of time you have before it does go boom. And as a rule of thumb that I've learned from my Mazda days, the more power you put through a car, the more maintenance it requires, and the more chance it has to go wrong, right? So manufacturers build a car to a certain spec in order to get it to not only have the power that is advertised, but also to have the longevity that most people should expect. Like, for example, since I'm talking about a WRX, can a WRX from the factory make 300 horsepower at the wheels? Yes, it can. But there are going to be some inherent issues with longevity in it. They have the car tuned the way it's tuned because they want it to last a certain amount of mileage to it. As I said before, a rule of thumb: more power, more problems. Kind of like the old song, more money, more problems. Same thing, but just now it's with cars. Got it? More power, more problems, more maintenance. As a daily driven car, it was fun. I would definitely recommend it for anybody who's looking for a single car that needs to do everything. Provided we don't have a hatchback anymore, and I'm sad about that. I would love to get another hatchback, but it doesn't look like Subaru is going to come through and do that for us anytime soon, if they do it at all. We just have a sedan. But as a sedan, it is probably one of the best daily driven, do anything, go anywhere car you can get. It'll do the track, it'll do the autocross, it'll get you home in a blizzard, it'll haul stuff. It's probably one of the most well-rounded cars you can buy, performance cars you can buy today. And I would recommend anybody do it. But I would not recommend highly modifying it, because can of worms, and yeah, you're going to end up hating it because you're going to need to. All right, had a little technical difficulties, but back at it again. So, as far as just ownership goes, and if you do want to go down the rabbit hole as far as mods do the research, and most likely there are people who have asked this question or whatever question that you have already. It is just, hey, I'm trying to do this. What do I need to do in order to do that? And just go to a forum and type in the search bar. Your question more than likely has been already asked. Or even if you go to a car meet and you see somebody who has something done already that you want to do, more than likely they will be more than happy to explain what they did, how they did it, and any growing pains that they had while trying to do it. And that is probably the most thing you should probably pay the most attention to. the things they did wrong and fucked their car up, so that you don't do the same thing and fuck your car up. That's what I would recommend, right? So you learn from the mistakes of others. The only thing to worry about, in my opinion, is if you have a brand new WRX. Um, yeah, it. I wouldn't recommend that, especially if you're in the market of modding it. I would recommend going to an older version of the car because people have already been through there and been there, done that, blew that up, blown that out, whatever it is like that. But if you do end up buying a new one, like I possibly might be able to buy one, then wait a year or two, maybe 3 years, until people start doing development and figuring out the little things and foibles about the car that you should be aware of. Okay. So with that, yeah, the new car coming out, I would just wait. I know there's a lot of people with controversy about the way the new car looks, and I like it. I did not like the massive orange thing, color, whatever the hell it is. Orange color. No, I wasn't. But if you put it in a darker color, like the darker gray or the black or something like that, it looks good to me. In my opinion, I might be nailing myself to a cross as far as other people are concerned, but I like the way it looks now after looking at it in a darker color, not a really bright orange. You know what I'm saying? So, with that, I really enjoyed owning the car. I would, again, like I said before, I would recommend it to anybody. I would recommend that you also do the research as far as modifications go. I would recommend more than anything at all, get yourself a good set of wheels, get yourself a good set of tires and brake pads, and bring it out and drive the hell out of it. You know, that's what it's made to do. I don't mind people having garage queens. That's your thing. By all means, do what you need to do, but you're not getting the full potential and not getting the full fun out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm trying to come up with a good analogy, but it's like buying a house and then only living in one room. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, yeah, I have a 3-bedroom house and I'm just going to live in the living room. There's so much you could do, and there's so much enjoyment to be had just by car ownership and just doing certain things with it. So I'm not rant over as far as that's concerned. Just yeah, WRX, man, it was an awesome car, and it's at the top of the list to buy a second one. And I have a rant on my channel about Ford and them with their silliness, but the reason why people are loyal to a car brand is not just because, well, in my opinion now, this is not everybody else's, but to me, if you want people to keep buying your cars, you have to give them something that they want to buy. And there's a select few car companies still out there that do that, and fortunately, Subaru is one of those car companies that they build cars not only just for normies, people who just go to work, but people who enjoy driving. And that kind of keeps the customers coming back. Shit, that's why I might even come back. I mean, I haven't gone anywhere. I still have a Subaru in the garage. So, who knows? I might be replacing it with another one. But, y'all be easy. Have a good holiday. Hope you get a lot of presents, eat a lot of food, friends, family, hugs, kisses, and all that kind of shit. Take it easy. One.